Men in America podcast, hosted by OG FOXXIE. Welcome back to another episode of Black Men in America. I'm your host, OG FOXXIE. Today we're diving into Vice President Kamala Harris's criticism of Donald Trump's presidency and his track record on issues like the economy, manufacturing, and working class Americans. So let's get started. Kamala Harris said, "The vast majority of us, regardless of our political party, agree."
And the tragic truth that we are facing in this election for President of the United States is that there is actually an honest question about whether one of the candidates will uphold the oath to the Constitution of the United States. That is the tragic truth of this election, that this is actually an honest question that we are having as Americans. And I know the vast majority of us agree that upholding the Constitution must be a basic requirement we expect of anyone seeking the highest office in the land. I know the vast majority of us, regardless of your political party, agree we must hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power. And if you share that view, no matter your political party, there is a place for you with us and in this campaign, because those principles, I know, unite us across party lines. And in this election, I take seriously my pledge to be a president for all Americans.
We must preserve our democracy. Vice President Harris said Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people.
So, brothers and sisters, as we stand here in a house of labor, we will not be fooled. We will not be gaslighted. Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people. And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country. But we know the facts and we know the truth. He is an existential threat to America's labor movement. Just look at his track record to know. He said he was the only one who could bring back America's manufacturing jobs. Michigan knows what I'm about to say. Then America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs when he was president, including tens of thousands of jobs in Michigan. And those losses started before the pandemic, so we're clear, making Donald Trump one of the biggest losers of manufacturing jobs in American history.
Trump doesn't deserve another term. Harris says our economy is making good progress.
Look, our economy is making good progress. Just this morning, we got a solid jobs report, right? Over 250,000 jobs created last month. Unemployment fell. And just a few weeks ago, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates, which helps. But there's still more we need to do. Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. And I have a plan on lowering costs on everything from healthcare to groceries, including taking on corporate price gouging.
Trump will tank our economy like he did before. Magic Johnson in Michigan said, "Our black men, we gotta get them out to vote."
Now,
people, but this is important. Our black men, we got to get them out to vote. That's number one. Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on. And we got to make sure we help black men understand that. So that's why I'm here, to make sure I help black men understand. First, get out and vote, and then vote for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Black men, we have to represent. Bruce Springsteen endorses Harris.
Hi, I'm Bruce Springsteen. Friends, fans, and the press have asked me who I'm supporting in this most important of elections. And with full knowledge that my opinion is no more or less important than those of many of my fellow citizens, here's my answer. I'm supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president, and opposing Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Here's why. We are shortly coming upon one of the most consequential elections in our nation's history. Perhaps not since the Civil War has this great country felt as politically, spiritually, and emotionally divided as it does then at this moment. It doesn't have to be this way. The common values, the shared stories that make us a great and united nation are waiting to be rediscovered and retold once again. Now that will take time, hard work, intelligence, faith, and women and men with the national good guiding their hearts. America is the most powerful nation on earth, not just because of her overwhelming military strength or economic power, but because of what she stands for, what she means, what she believes in. Freedom, social justice, equal opportunity, the right to be and love who you want. These are the things that make America great. Donald Trump is the most dangerous candidate for president in my lifetime. His disdain for the sanctity of our Constitution, the sanctity of democracy, the sanctity of the rule of law, and the sanctity of the peaceful transfer of power should disqualify him from the office of president ever again. He doesn't understand the meaning of this country, its history, or what it means to be deeply American. On the other hand, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are committed to a vision of this country that respects and includes everyone, regardless of class, religion, race, your political point of view, or sexual identity. And they want to grow our economy in a way that benefits all, not just a few like me on top. That's the vision of America I've been consistently writing about for 55 years. Now, everybody sees things different, and I respect your choice as a fellow citizen. But like you, I've only got one vote, and it's one of the most precious possessions that I have. That's why, come November 5th, I'll be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thanks for listening.
Bruce, born in the USA, is a true American. Liz Cheney said, I have never voted for a Democrat.
I tell you, I have never voted for a Democrat. But this year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Thank you. But mostly we're not going back.
Thank you, Liz. Liz Cheney said Mike Pence refused to violate his oath to the Constitution.
institutions also held because of Vice President Mike Pence, who refused to violate his oath to the Constitution. And that is why Mike Pence is not Donald Trump's running mate today. Instead, J.D. Vance is on the ticket. Vance has said, that's true. Vance has said repeatedly that he would have done what Donald Trump wanted, that he would have rejected electoral votes. He would have thrown out the votes of the people of Wisconsin because he didn't like the way that you voted. That is tyranny, and that is disqualifying.
Vance is a younger, more polished version of Trump. Cheney also said, "I was a Republican even before Donald Trump started spray tanning."
House leadership. So, in other words, I was a Republican even before Donald Trump started spray tanning.
Trump is a rhino, Republican in name only. Hopefully Republicans like her heed the warning.
The story of being black in America is filled with never-ending chapters of challenge. Driving while black, banking while black, parenting while black. But what about voting while black? They always tell you this election will be different, and it rarely is. So many promises made. Promises of economic justice and social equity that never quite make it to your pocket or your porch. But this election, there really is only one choice. This time, she is the choice. Now I know you're thinking I've never voted for a woman and I'm not going to start now. Ask yourself, why not? And maybe you'll find it's not about her. It's about you. What you want for your family, for your future. Because if you vote for what you want, the choice becomes clear. It's Kamala. Listen to your gut. Your heart is telling you that Kamala Harris is the right person for the job. It's time for courage, for boldness. It's time to come together for change. It's time to be a man. Vote for a woman.
Ratings and reviews can help the Black Men in America podcast reach a wider audience, and donations will improve the quality of our content. To donate, just click on the support the show link. Thank you. Thank you, Wendell Pierce. Mike Pence announced he cannot vote for Donald Trump.
Come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year. Look, I'm incredibly proud of the record of our administration. It was a conservative record that made America more prosperous, more secure, and saw conservatives appointed to our course in a more peaceful world. But that being said, during my presidential campaign, I made it clear that there were profound differences between me and President Trump on a range of issues, and not just our difference on my constitutional duties that I exercised on January the 6th. I mean, as I have watched his candidacy unfold, I've seen him walking away from our commitment to confronting the national debt. I've seen him starting to shy away from a commitment to the sanctity of human life. And this last week is his reversal on getting tough on China and supporting our administration's effort to force a sale of ByteDance TikTok.
Why do you think he did that? Why do you think he had that reversal on that before we go, sir?
Well, I can't speculate on it, but what I can tell you is that in each of these cases, Donald Trump is pursuing and articulating an agenda that is at odds with the conservative agenda that we governed on during our 4 years. And that's why I cannot, in good conscience, endorse Donald Trump in this campaign. But let me say one last thing. That being said, look, Republican primary voters have made it clear, Martha, who they're for in this election. What I'm going to spend the rest of this year on is talking about what we should be for, and that is the broad mainstream conservative agenda that's defined our party and always made America strong and prosperous and free.
Well, understood. I got 2 seconds, but who are you going to vote for in November?
Well, like most Americans, I'm going to keep my vote to myself. But
would you vote for President Biden?
I would never vote for Joe Biden. But how I vote when that curtain closes is that'll be for me.
Pence knows how dangerous Trump is. Mark Cuban on VP Harris.
And talking to her and talking to her team, it's not like she brings up, well, this is the Democratic Party way, or this is what the party feels. It's the exact opposite. She talks about her values. She talks about bringing the country together. She talks about the fact that, you have to come to the center if you're going to bring the country together. And I think that's what she's done, and I think that's great for all business people because, when we're a divided country, it truly is bad for business because we all have to deal with the cultures within our organization. And we have to walk that fine line where you have people who have different political views and it creates uncertainty at work. And that's just not good for any organization. So I think, at a fundamental basis, the fact that she's open, she's caring, she's direct, she's ethical, she's honest. Those are things that bring people together.
Kamala will be great for American businesses. This is the ultimate plan.
You're in trouble, Donald. In the courts, in the streets, in your own party. But there's one big problem you never saw coming. Turn around. He's right behind you. It's JD. His billionaire friends mock you. Why do you think they forced JD Vance on you? Age is getting to you, Donald, and you're just too slow to see the plan. If you win, JD will come for you. You won't see him until it's too late. He won't wait until you make a mistake. JD's plot to invoke the 25th Amendment is already underway. Your cabinet betrayed you before. Why would it be different now? And with Democrats in the majority, no one will stop him. Republicans want someone younger, smarter, someone stable. A leader who will execute Project 2025 without your problems. Rupert's Wall Street Journal said Vance's version of Trump is better than the real thing. JD switched from never Trump hater to your running mate in record time. You thought that was real? You think he won't stab you in the back to seize 10 years of power in the White House? So yes, Donald, they really are out to get you. And the one who'll betray your presidency is right by your side.
Those close to Trump are trying to take him out. Trump sabotaged the bipartisan deal.
Number one, that, but it also made it much better for the opposing side.
Manage the crisis.
You couldn't manage.
Trump is desperate in his attempts not to go to jail. Trump in Butler said, "We have plenty of votes."
Stop this deal because we have a lot of votes. We have plenty of votes. Stop this deal. That's why you've got to get out. You've got to get out and vote. We're going to win this thing. And the more we win it, it's too big to rig. The expression we use, make it too big to rig. At a certain point.
Trump must be stopped from stealing this election. Trump said they stole the FEMA money.
That's what's happening. They stole the FEMA money just like they stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants that they want to have vote for them this season. They're trying.
Under Project 2025, Trump wants the FEMA money for his cronies. Trump said they are doing the worst job on a hurricane.
But they're not talking about something else that's very important. They are doing, this is Katrina, they are doing the worst job on a hurricane that any administration has ever done, and these people don't want to talk about it.
Trump went golfing when disasters hit. Trump claims that Helene victims need big doses of Starlink.
But they want Starlink. So I said, whatever it is, let's sell. I called Elon. I say, and you can't get it. It's really popular. It's very hard to get. But they need it, and they need big doses of it, like fast. And I'm calling Elon. I said, Elon, in North Carolina and parts of Georgia, and the governor is doing a very good job, by the way, in Georgia, I have to say. A very good job. But in parts of Georgia, and in real big parts of North Carolina, they need something called Starlink. I don't know what the hell it is, and you don't have to tell me because I don't want to waste a lot of time. But would you be able to get it? And we talked on the phone for a couple of minutes. And during my conversation with him, I got a call from North Carolina thanking me for getting Starlink. I said, how the hell did you do that? You're talking to me. You didn't have time. He said, well, I have a system. I think he's doing.
Trump is displaying his incompetence. Fox News asked Trump, what's your reaction to Melania championing abortion rights?
Reaction to Melania's memoir about championing abortion rights and reproductive freedom. When you read it, what were your thoughts?
We spoke about it, and I said, you have to write what you believe. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to write what you believe. She's very beloved. People love our former First Lady, I can tell you that. But I said, you have to stick with your heart. I've said that to everybody. You have to go with your heart. There are some people that are very, very far right on the issue, meaning without exceptions. And then there are other people that view it a little bit differently than that.
Kamala.
Melania cannot be beloved by Trump supporters. Trump is a criminal.
We're learning that former President Trump resorted to crimes in a bid to cling to power after the 2020 election.
A member of the Trump campaign said, quote, make them riot, end quote, and do it in the lead up to the storming of the U.S. Capitol building.
Multiple capital injuries. Multiple capital injuries. Oh my God.
We're learning that former President Trump resorted to crimes in a bid to cling to power after the 2020 election.
This should be disqualifying. Now let's go back to Trump.
Look, between you people, don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. Well, I'll give you voters. I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her. She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. How many cases were in the United States when I did my ban? How many people had died in the United States?
Did you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down.
Do you want him to bring in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
You didn't let me ask my question.
You've been asking a question for 10 minutes. All right, please sit down.
The argument is that you bought yourself some time and you didn't use it to prepare hospitals. You didn't use it to ramp up testing. Right now,
You're so disgraceful. It's so disgraceful the way you say that. Look. You know you're a fake. You know that. Your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake. And most of you, and not all of you,
But the people are wise to you. That's why you have a lower approval rating than you've ever had before, times probably 3.
What do you say the Americans were scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead.
You said repeatedly that you think that some of the equipment that governors are requesting, they don't actually need. You said New York might not need 30,000. You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said that
why don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
My question to you
get you. And you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
My question to you is, how is that going to impact?
You didn't hear me. That's why you used to work for the Times and now you work for somebody else. Look, let me tell you something. Be nice.
Mr. President, my question is...
Don't be threatening. Let's give it a shot.
That was so much worse than I remember. Trump said he opposes wind energy.
You're not going to do it through wind. The wind isn't blowing, darling. Let's turn on the television. Let's try it anyway. I want to see President Trump make a speech tonight. No, darling, the wind isn't blowing. We have no juice in the house.
That was insane. Trump said Pete Hoekstra has been a friend of mine for a long time.
And Michigan GOP Chairman Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, who's been a friend of mine for a long time.
Pete Hoekstra is a Project 2025 author. The party of Trump First believes America isn't a democracy.
For 90 minutes, they talked about different visions of the country. It was a civil debate that seemed like it was in the American tradition. But then something happened that has never happened in American history. A candidate for vice president refused to say that our president was legally elected.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future.
That is a damning non-answer.
Nothing else matters. J.D. Vance believes America isn't a democracy.
Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020.
Because if we don't have a legally elected president, we're not a democracy. All those who sacrificed to make America the greatest democracy in the history of the world, J.D. Vance thinks they failed. The greatest generation, it was all for nothing. Is that what you believe? That your vote doesn't count? If you believe in America, if you believe we pledge our allegiance to the greatest democracy in the world, there's only one choice. America or Trump.
Trump should not be allowed to be a dictator under his Project 2025. Trump plans to abuse his power.
Any government agencies have zero trust in our Congress and our Senate, anything. We have a government that's not functioning right now. Yeah. How are you going to gain the trust back of the American people within the government? And are we going to see anybody held accountable? Yeah. The answer is yes on the second. They're going to be held accountable. They've got to be held accountable. What they're doing, they're destroying this country. They're crooked people. They're dishonest people. They're going to be held accountable.
Trump will spend his presidency being petty if Trump is elected to a second term.
You've heard Donald Trump say he'll arrest and deport millions. On day one, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration, and we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. But have you heard who else he wants to arrest? It might be you, if you've disagreed with the Supreme Court. These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices.
The former president has ramped up his threats to jail political opponents if he wins the election.
I say, go down and indict them. They'd be out of the election. Trump threatens anyone who holds him accountable with arrest and imprisonment. When a nut writes, Elizabeth Cheney is guilty of treason and calls for televised military tribunals, Trump sends it out to millions of his followers. How many times did he rant? They should lock her up. Lock him up. Yeah, lock him up. Donald Trump is a convicted felon awaiting trial for other felonies. He's an angry and desperate man who cares nothing about the Constitution or rule of law. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about protecting our country, our heritage, our future, America or Trump.
Trump will spend his term arresting Americans, not helping them. Trump announces he plans to take America back to the 1880s and 1890s.
Our country was the richest when we were doing tariffs. That was the richest. This was in the 1880s and 90s. We were if you go back to the dates and you look, our country was so rich, we didn't know what to do with all the money we had. They had committees, the Great Tariff Committee of 1887. This was a committee that was set up to, where do you give all this? What do you do with all the money?
We damn sure ain't going back that far. Well, thanks for joining this episode of Black Men in America. We've heard Kamala's strong case against Trump's return, and we've looked at the voices across the nation pushing for change. Remember to stay informed and stay active. Be sure to subscribe and share this episode with anyone who's ready to join the conversation. Until next time, this is OG FOXXIE signing off, and may God bless us all. Black Man in America podcast and OG FOXXIE production. Love and peace to us all.